Again, and today we're going to do another Jong exercise techniques. This is a little bit more complex. It requires more footwork, angle, and learn how to hook around the arms. Okay. If you don't have a Jong, you can still do it in the air, but it requires a little bit more control. But having a Jong would be great. So we're going to start with how to learn how to do the basics of this Jong technique. Okay. I always like to start off neutral. If you're not starting any position, I just like to rest my hands in a neutral position. From there, I signify to start by just hitting underneath. Bringing my arms here, underneath. First thing we're going to do is going to do a pak sao, which is basically a turn, and use as much contact as possible. You're going to have the other hand in the guard position with the woo, and you want to turn your body 45 degrees and hit the other side. Then you're going to turn your body again to a 45 degree turn to a tan sao. From here, you're going to take a step to the side, and we're going to cut the arm coming around, and you're going to swing the elbow towards the arm. Okay, then you're going to learn to take your woo sao. You're going to grab the Jong, okay, and you're going to flick over top the arm to hit. Then you're going to lay your hand with a tan sao. You're going to hook your hand without losing contact or pulling your arm. You want to hook your hand as you turn a tan like this. So you lay your hand from a tan sao and fuk sao. You're going to turn your body into it. You're going to strike to the head while covering the guard with your arm at the same time. With that, you're going to snake underneath with a slipping hand underneath the Jong, and you're going to ride that right underneath like that. At the same time, you're going to turn your body and turn your hand to a grip and strike below. Then you're going to turn your hand around to the outside, bring the other one up, and you're going to slide by turning your body again. Then you're going to take a hook on your left hand over top of fuk, and you make a tan at the same time. Then you're going to flick it and make the opposite, where you're going to make a fuk and a tan. Striking up at the same time, creating the hook. Then you're going to slip underneath like you're snaking it, turn the other one underneath, turn your body again, and come up and turn your body again. Okay? So, let's practice this again, and we're going to practice in a more breakdown on contact and control. Okay? So your hand's going to start from neutral, whether it be left or right, it doesn't really matter. You're going to turn from the wrist out and bring it up at the elbow. So we don't want to pull your arm backwards, just up, bringing the energy up. Okay, then you're going to basically just turn your wrist around the Jong, and you can create a turn 45 degrees, making a woo sao and pak sao. Okay, you again turn the body 45 degrees to the right, hitting it again. As much contact as possible. We call it the MC, MC, LC, LC technique. You don't want to push on your pinky or your thumb more. You want to have it so it's dispersed evenly. Your body should be about 45 degrees from the Jong. So if you're facing the Jong, you want to turn 45 degrees to the left and 45 degrees to the right of the Jong. Okay? Now, the way your footwork form is, you want to concentrate all your weight, basically, towards the standing leg, which in this one here would be my left, and the other one should be empty. Okay? So, we want to make sure that when we turn our body, you should have that empty leg. So if I was like this and do a test, and I did the test, I should be able to take my hands off the Jong and pick up my leg without having to move backwards. If I went like this, and I was like this, and I did the test, and I had to go like this, I'm not properly shifting and twisting my body right. I'm actually throwing my weight, which is what we want to avoid. We want to generate power through the torque, not through the push or the commitment of the body. We want to do it through the torquing of the body. So when we start, it's a turn. 1, 2, okay? Then 3 is a tan on the other side. Again, test all the time. Every move you make, you can test. So if I was, again, I can test, do the test like this. I can do the test like this. I can do the test like this. And I can do the test like this. And again, every time I should be properly seated. And when I turn, I hit again, test, See, every time I move, you should have that empty leg stance. Okay? Your body should be torquing to drive power. So when you move, it's how you torque your body to get power. It's not how much you can throw into it because you wind up committing. So we want to make sure we torque and drive power, not commit to drive power. Okay? So, in terms of the hands, so we go 1, okay? Turn and pack. Turn and pack. You're going to do a turn and do a tom. Now, we want to stance turn and cut to the side a little bit, rolling hand underneath, and just turning the body at the same time, letting the elbow turn with the body, if you can see. It's not a throw of the shoulder, so you don't want to be throwing your shoulder into it. You want to let your turn from your body drive that power. Your wrist should turn so it can make what we call flush or flat hit, so you want to stay as flat as you can in the arm. You don't want to be raising it where you have to create space, or you want to do it where your hand looks like it's collapsing into you. You want it so it's flush and even. So when you go from a ton sound, you want to turn. See, I just kind of use the body and I relax the wrist, you see? And when I'm ready to turn in, I use my hips to get the turn. Once I get that, I want to just kick the woo hand, just tap the top, see? No pulling backwards. We never want to project energy going backwards. We always want forward energy. So you're going to hit at the same time, you're going to bring the hand, making the fist, turning the wrist up, and striking out towards the jaw, as you can see. Okay? You're going to then turn your hand and make it open, hook in, using your forearm that you make contact with as a pivoting point. Okay? So from here, as you turn in, this wrist turns out, lands a tan sound, you're going to hook and turn your body, riding the tan right up to a strike as you create the hook on the hand. Then you're going to turn your left wrist underneath and snake underneath their hand like this. So you're going to take the hand, you're going to turn the body, at the same time, slide this hand down and grab this. The way you want to grab is you want to get your palm as much contact as possible, thumb underneath, fingers over top. You don't want to have a bent wrist grip like this. You want your wrist to be aligned and straight. Okay? Then you want to turn your wrist underneath as you turn your body and come up from underneath, opening and sliding with the contact to the jaw. Then you're going to take the fuchs out with the left hand. At the same time, you're going to raise a tan and you hook, making sure your arm stays on contact. You don't want to pull your arm away from the jaw. You want to stay in control of the jaw. So you can see I'm hooking. I have control on this side and that side. And when I'm ready to turn, I still have that control from the top to the bottom. At the same time, this hand here is going to shoot up into a tansao, again making this contact where you're not favoring the hand or the elbow. So the pressure should be right into the jaw, not towards the hand or underneath the elbow. That's an imbalance. So it feels even for you. So when you're going from this position, you want to come up where you're even. Then hooking the hand the opposite side, and you're going to roll up on the inside, creating the hook and driving the hand at the same time. Then you're going to snake underneath and slip the hand underneath. So you're going to just turn your hand so you snake underneath under the arm like this, and you're going to drive the palm towards the strike. At the same time, slide the left palm down, roll the hand towards the side again, get the gravity opposite, and you're going to strike underneath with the right hand. Okay? And then you're going to roll the left hand, same like before on the opposite side. You're just bring it underneath, open your palm, slide this in, at the same time turn your body and create that. And you're done that move. Okay? Now, it's very important that we learn how to hit this with power, but precision as well. So, our moves is not about hitting as hard as you can. It's all about hitting as hard as you can within your technique. So, your technique is more important in the beginning. And then as you get good, you want to emphasize the power behind it. Okay? So when we do this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, 2, 3. And you can see, you want to create the controlled bursts. Okay? So when we do this, it's about letting that burst control occur. It's not the committed energy. It's how well we can hit and send the power, hit and send the power, hit and send the power, hit and send the power. Again, it's about how we learn how to move, okay? With forward projection of energy. Now, the key to doing this, it lies in the torquing of your wrist. As you can see, my wrists, they create the power. And as well as the waist. Okay, so we learn to use the wrist in conjunction with the waist together. And again, the power comes from the connection between the torquing of the wrist and the torquing of my waist at the same time. So when I move, I'm moving through the turning of my wrist and the waist together. So we want to develop this power through synchronization of hands by the wrist and the waist, okay, the torso. The shoulders must always work with the waist, so you don't want to take it and make sure that your shoulders are exceeding the hips. So if you look at my hip here, my shoulders are past my hips, that's no good. You want it to be where your shoulders work with the hip, so you have a solid core. You don't want to be where you're having a twisted core. You want one solid core, so what my waist turns, my shoulder turns. My shoulder turns with the waist, but never ahead of it or behind it. Okay? So it's very important. Again, if you want to practice your footwork form first, you can practice just taking the drill and just turning 45 degrees in, come out and face about 45 degrees to the jog. And again, do your test, bring it up, bring it down. Take the turn 45 degrees in, shift your weight and turn again. And again, take the test. This is how you can practice your footwork form without hands if you're not comfortable with it. Okay? So you just practice 1, 2, 1, 2. And when you get that, you can practice 1, see? 2, 3, 4. Again, take your time in getting the understanding of how to take your turns. Okay? The object is stick to the jog as much as you can. We don't want to try to create any pullbacks. Okay? We want to create cycling. Okay? We don't want to just pull in, here, pull in, come out. We want to create like a cycling effect. So we have this always like this turning, as you can see my hands, very natural in front of the jog. Okay? So it's always forward. We can curve into you, but you cannot pull into you. So you're allowed to take forward energy and curve because I can still stick to the jog, but you cannot pull because you're dragging into your shoulders. Never feel like it's going into your shoulders. If you're putting a lot of pressure into it and you're doing moves like this and you feel your shoulders starting to strain, you are not doing it properly. You should not feel your shoulders strain. You can feel the stress in your shoulders, but you should never have a strain in your shoulders. So make sure that you're driving forward energy. Okay? So practice this if you have any questions. I'm going to do a little breakdown of how the applications are used on the jog to a person. So we're going to break down the packs, the tons, and the hooking part. Pretty much the packs and tons are self-explanatory. They're very simplistic, but the curves are what we're really trying to hit on. Okay? So when a person throws a punch, okay, we have the options of pack. Okay? Now understand pack style doesn't have to be the palm, it can be the arm. The key is the balance. Just like when you hit the jog, you're not trying to hit it where you're going to lift up or go under. You want to hit it so you stay the same on contact. Okay, so if he throws another punch, just like our form teacher, if he throws a straight punch again, I can do a ton. Okay, so these are pretty much simple. They can both work inside and outside, so if he's throwing a punch, so it's like he could go punch, see I just do this, he throws another punch. I can do this way, he punches. I can do this way, punch. I can do this way. So they're kind of interchangeable for both inside and outside attacks. Okay? Now, we're going to focus on making the bong sound and how that works. Okay? He throws a hook punch, let's say. We can intercept the arm. Okay? The bong sound is really good because it can, as he's pushing the head, we can roll the energy off us. Okay? So we want to practice and make sure that when we roll, the important is making sure the contact point is the steady point that you have. So notice when you're going to roll into a ton, like your Jong teaches you, and you're going to cut over to the bottom, okay? You're not going to bring the hand in and make it feel like it collapses. You want to keep the pressure, the distance of the angle the same. So let's just say for now, we're at 90 degrees. As he pushes in the face, I want to bring it up and over and keep it at 90 degrees. Can we adjust? Yes. For now, to keep it simple, to keep it easy, no, we don't want to bend our arms right now. There are places where we can, but that requires better footwork form. So all we're going to do is do the turn. So when he throws a punch, we want to create a punch here. Now if you feel pressure, the first thing you want to do is give it a little bit of rise. And the reason why is because we want to dissipate the energy over us and not go against the energy. If he's pushing to us and we go in like this without that rise, he's still in the line of attack to my face, pushing my face. So if we have that, push my face. No, my face. You see, we can move it over us so it's not a threat where we have to try and do a box and run away from it because we feel that it's going to hit us in the face. So we want to pop it so we don't feel threatened by the attack. So as he throws a punch, you want to have a slight rise. Now, when I turn my wrist, I'm going to turn my waist, just like the Jong teaches you. When I cut my body and step to the side, I'm also going to turn this in, but at the same time I turn this in, I want to turn the elbow forward. So like a propeller blade, if this is the motor where this is the piston point, as I bring in, I want to concentrate and bring it out. Okay? So I want to make sure I go up, I go over, and I go up. I don't want to go like this, up, over, and I go in and turn over. I'm actually pulling in more than I'm taking. I want the same ratio of what I go in to what I go out. I don't want to do the opposite where I push more than I give because I'll collapse as well. So we want to create an even give and take. Okay? So from here, once it goes past us, we can take the strike. And the way, like the Jong teaches us, we want to keep the pressure here. You don't want to pull away just before you strike because the pressure will come into you. So when you cut, you have to keep the same steadiness in your arm, just like we do on the Jong, keeping that pressure the same. And when we ready to strike, we just want to fold from the elbow. See? You don't want to lift the arm and drag down. You just want to cut so you can get that hand. So the pressure that you feel build, you're going to learn to dissipate, and you want to bring it towards your forearm to the elbow. And the reason why is because we're going to use that to bridge to create that snap. So when you're doing it, if this was his face, the hand should be like this, and again, the turning of the wrist, so you can see, the hand creates this snap. The idea is hit with not just force being fast, but accelerate that energy. So you want that fast, fast. So as he punches, okay, that is enough to shock the head back and stun him right where he is. A good example is if you ever turned around and hit your head on something, not looking, how much energy would it take to stop you right then and there? Not much, right? And that's the same. We want to use that speed to get that power. You don't want to throw the body. You just want to create that snap, just like we practice on the Jong. Rest and pivot your elbow, and just use that. See? So, as you get good, you just want to cut over, okay? The hooking part of the hand is if we get the attacks or if we get the shot, we can learn how to hook the hand and bring it down so we can strike up to the face. So using that hooking, that part of the Jong where we come from here and we make a ton, we can come up like this and drive that right towards his face. It can also be used as he throws another hook punch. We can cut that up at the same time and drive and turn that and hit that back. So we want to make sure that when we're here, we just pivot down. Now we don't want to lift the elbow push down, we want to keep the pressure on the point of contact. So just like when we practice on the Jong, we want to hook without lifting. Compromising that point right there takes the pressure control off, so the guy can start pushing in on you. If you do this, he can press in. So we don't want to press and allow him to press us in. We want to keep that control. So if he presses in, we're sending the energy towards the hand. See how you went forward? Because I took the energy and I took it away from him. And I took it down. Now, obviously I don't want to go this far. This is just an example to show you how much I can absorb. But technically, I want to cut back right away to get the attack. Okay? So we can use this position, cut, and then cut. Now, head strike, body strike, it's up to you. In the Jong, we practice the body. Okay? When we do this, okay, one of the things that we do is as he strikes us, it's a block, right? But we can turn that, just like we practice on the Jong. We can use that to turn and hit. And then we can twist the wrist around using the turn that we did. And we can use that to control the opponent. Okay? The part where we hit and hold, that teaches us how to grip someone's arm. So if we're in a parry, we have this position. To take that attack, we can learn to grip. Don't bend your wrist. You want to kind of keep your wrist exactly where it is and use your body in turn. Notice how my wrist is never bent. You don't want to do this. You create a compromise in your grip. You will not be able to hold the guy. He's going to be able to escape this. But you want to keep your palms straight where it is and turn using your body and create the turn on the body like that. So make sure you don't compromise, just like the Jong teaches us. So if we're here, one of the techniques is if he throws a punch, I can bring it up, see, and I can turn that and create a punch to the body or the face. Then I can use that to twist and take him off the line of attack again, preventing him from coming back. So should he try to punch with his hands, I can now use that and turn that. So again, it takes practice, it takes skill, take your time. Pressure makes a big difference, but being able to control the technique is how you control the pressure. Remember that pressure only occurs if you're fighting him back. Pressure exists only because you resist. If you learn how to move with him, the pressure becomes lighter. If you try to fight him, the pressure becomes greater and it's going to cause your body to stress. So take your time practicing this. Learn the technique. Technique is the key to control. Okay? And then sensitivity teaches you how much of your technique you need to use. So those two go hand in hand. Practice well. If you have any questions, please comment below. If you like the video, please give us a thumb up. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe because we have plenty for you to see. Thank you.